Welcome to Financing the American Dream. I'm your host, Craig Sewing, and today we're taking you all across the country to show you the best of real estate, lifestyle, and culture. You're going to love the stories we have to share today. Let's get this show started right now.
The search is over, baby. I'm right here, and I got it.
The American Dream, the only show that combats negative media, not owned by a network, commercial-free, unscripted.
I got it.
These are stories for you and by you.
Hi guys, Heather Devoto here in the heart of Arlington County, my hometown. We are at A Modo Mio on Langston Boulevard. This authentic Italian restaurant, formerly Joe's Pizza, has recently gotten a total facelift. Rosario, my friend, one of the owners, not only redesigned the interior, he also changed the name. He's gonna tell us all about it.
Ciao.
Rosario!
Buongiorno. How
Great
are
to
you?
see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for letting us come in.
Thank you for coming.
So, you know, I'm a regular, and
Yes.
Joe's Pizza is like a landmark in Arlington. Tell us about it.
Yes. So it was a fun place, and we changed it because of COVID. We reinvented ourselves, rebranded, remodeled, had a facelift, changed lighting, furniture, floor, incorporated
It's
an actual
awesome.
bar
Yeah, it's
instead of
awesome.
a pizza bar.
I love it.
Our centerpiece is the oven.
All right, well, let's go check out the oven.
Yeah, let's do
come,
it.
Come show me.
I'll show you.
Okay, here we are in front of this amazing masterpiece.
This oven was custom made for us in Naples. We chose the color, the logo, the size, the insulation, and it cooks our pizza in just 90 seconds.
That's incredible,
Yeah,
really.
it goes up to 900 degrees.
Not only do you have amazing pizza, you guys also have other stuff on your menu, right?
Yes, we do. I want to have Antonio talk about that. Antonio?
Antonio, tell us about your incredible menu.
My menu is 100%, everything is Italian, Italian product imported from Italy, flour, mozzarella, pasta, we do the authentic lasagna. Everything is very good, clean, and of course we have the pizza,
Okay.
the Napolitan
All right,
pizza.
you gotta show us.
Okay, I'll make one for you.
Okay, awesome. Obviously, Arlington has some fantastic restaurants. It also has some fantastic real estate. David Wolf, my long-term friend and business partner, is going to take us on a tour of a property next, also on Langston Boulevard. He did over $14 million in business last year, all by himself. He doesn't advertise, he doesn't do any marketing, and as soon as you meet him, you'll see why. Let's go. David,
Heather, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Oh my God, I am speechless. You've got to tell me about this absolutely breathtaking place. It is unbelievable.
My clients were downsizing from a large home, and they had given me very specific criteria of what they were looking for and
Okay.
where they wanted to be located. When I saw this unit, I knew I had to get them into it. They walked in the door and they said, "This is it, we're home."
Well, you have an amazing ability to be able to match your client's desires with the right property. David, you're an expert in the Arlington market. How have rising rates affected the market here?
I think the market has normalized, so you don't have this frenzy of people every time a house comes on the market. So my advice to my clients is lock in now while you can.
You don't do any marketing, you don't do any advertising. How have you been able to do that?
When my clients hire me, they get me, not an assistant, not someone else. They deal with the expert and the person who's going to give them the very best advice and service.
David, thank you for inviting us to see this spectacular condo. I loved everything about it. Today we got to experience some real Italian cooking, also see this incredible condo, getting a slice of what life is really like living in Arlington. Join us next week as we explore the DMV. Let's get some pizza.
Old Village Historic District is known for its extravagant homes and the stunning views of the Charleston Harbor. I'm standing in front of the oldest house in Mount Pleasant, the Hibben House, built in 1755. This home once served as headquarters for the British in the Revolutionary War. When James Hibben purchased the home in 1803, he then started to design what we know today as the village of Mount Pleasant. I'm your host, Krista Votaw with Financing the American Dream, and today we're going to go to the infamous Pitt Street and meet it up with Bradley. We're going to explore Old Village and check out some shops that you don't want to miss when you're doing some of your holiday shopping. So let's go check it out. I find the history of Old Village just fascinating. So when Hibben actually purchased this area, he actually divided it into 35 different lots, and Pitt Street was actually one of the main hubs back in the day. I mean, it makes sense with the proximity to the ocean, and I mean, that's why all these amazing stores are here.
It's a beautiful area. One of my favorites is right behind us, the Post House.
I love going there. I mean, they have amazing food and drinks. You can just gather with friends and family, and then you can see the beautiful architecture and just walk around and visit the stores.
It is a beautiful place. It's so beautiful that the show Outer Banks actually shoots down through here.
Oh, no way. Well, that is so cool. Let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
Christmas is coming. Start sending your letters off to Santa.
So tell me a little bit more about the neighborhood and the market.
Yeah, this area is beautiful. Great place to live, right near the harbor. And this market's still doing very well.
I know that it's important to have the buyer and sellers talking, when they're in a transaction.
Yes, negotiations is a very key part of anything when it comes to real estate. So know what the buyer and seller want is big. Right now is they want lower interest rates. And the 3-2-1 buy down can get them there. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can actually use the seller concession to potentially buy down that rate to get it 3 whole points better than where the current market is. That makes the buyer happy, and it makes the seller happy because they get to keep that high price.
Exactly, and we see that working very well in this market right now.
Yeah. Well, let's go check out the rest of the shops.
Let's do it.
Lisa, this is such a gorgeous store. How did you land on this location?
So we relocated here about 21 years ago, and I love the Old Village.
You also have different collaborations between local artists and florists and makeup artists. Tell me a little bit more about that and how that idea came about.
Once every 3 weeks, we have a back room, and it can be anything like how to do calligraphy, how to write a book, an outline for that, how to flower arrange.
So you really created a space in order to just teach others and teach women to be able to have maybe a fun night out and learn something new.
It's not just me, truthfully. I have a lot of great people who work here, and the artists bring their energy. It's really a place for people to come and be comfortable and enjoy and be inspired.
I'm actually going to be heading over to the gala down the street, so I'm excited to get to have some of those desserts and coffee.
That's a weakness of mine.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
So today we learned some great tips about buying and selling real estate, and we got to enjoy some holiday shopping at the same time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It was a great day.
Yeah, Old Village has such historic charm. I mean, like mom and pop shops, like this place, the Gala Cafe and Bakery. I know that I'm gonna sit here, relax, enjoy this latte. Cheers, and here's to your clear way home.
Viewers, thanks again for tuning in. I'm your host of Financing the American Dream, Adriana Bates, and we are back in Kansas City. We're in the West Plaza neighborhood, just outside of the Plaza Shopping and Art District. Paul Galbraith with Keller Williams Key Partners is inside to show us this gorgeous, modern home in such an established neighborhood. Can't wait for you to see this one. Let's go check it out. American Dream, we have a special guest here today. Paul, thank you so much for having me in this gorgeous, absolutely stunning, new construction. I would call this new construction, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a new build.
Yeah, it's a new construction. So there was a house here previously and that was torn down, and there's a new one here that they built.
Which is gorgeous. The finishes, I think the design, what they had, the lot, I think they did a great job with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really unique neighborhood and lot and area. So for taking the house that was here, tearing it down, building this new one, it actually does blend really well with the area.
In the neighborhood. So we're in the West Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very highly desired. So we're like actually in between the plaza, which we will very much hold your horses, viewers. We will go and show you in a second. Shopping, the arts district, things like that. But then in between Westwood, which is another desirable neighborhood. So we're kind of walking distance between the two, and you don't find a lot of new construction in this area. So talk about what this market is doing and why some of these, I mean, you want this new build, you want a new house.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's lots over here that there haven't been homes on them for a long time. So there's been developers coming in to build these modern homes or houses that, really are just too far gone to renovate. So it's just easier to knock them over and rebuild. What makes the area so desirable is you are exactly right. You're a couple minutes from the plaza, but also Westwood Park and the West Plaza area is really just up and coming and has been for quite a while. And you have shops and stores and everything, at your fingertips.
So the walkability aspect, the cultural aspect of these nice neighborhoods with the new home feel. I mean, what's not to love about this?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, you can't beat it. I mean, you can walk to the plaza in less than 7 minutes from here.
That's crazy. What a fabulous day. A little chilly, okay?
Yes, that is a little chilly.
But this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a November day, a little brisk, but amazing shops are open. Tell me, what is your favorite about the plaza?
The architecture is amazing. So
what is it? Spanish influence, right?
It's very Spanish influence, yes. And so, just like in general, there's a lot of places down here. You have shops and you have restaurants and just the atmosphere in general. It's always hopping like this.
And we will have a little taste of the friendliness of the Midwesterners, right?
Yeah, everybody's
just like
super nice.
So everyone's just popping by because they can tell that we're talking about the plaza.
Yes.
Everyone is proud about the plaza. That is something that I think is very unique to Kansas City, how proud we are.
Yeah.
And as I glanced up, I do see a little bit of the Christmas lights that are going to be, when is it? Isn't it?
It should be here in the next couple weeks.
Right, isn't
plaza
it like
lighting.
the Thanksgiving or the day after
I
Thanksgiving
believe the day after
that?
Thanksgiving.
So a little thing about the plaza is every year, day after Thanksgiving, around that time, a local celebrity, could be Gary Lezak, who knows? Could be Gary Lezak.
Could be a local one.
A local celebrity will go ahead and flip the lights on, and all of these beautiful stores and shops and restaurants are all strung out in lights, and it just lights up at once, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. When you're here at night and all the lights are on, and it's hustling and bustling.
And the horse-drawn carriages.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so romantic.
It's so beautiful. Yeah.
I know. Paul, thank you so much for coming and visiting and hanging out and showing what an amazing area that the plaza actually is.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure as always, and I really appreciate it.
Love you,
Yes,
as always.
I love you.
Hey viewers, again, I'm Adriana Bates, your host here for American Dream Television. Thanks again for tuning in on our tour of the plaza all around Kansas City. I hope you tune in next time. Looking forward to catching you then. Bye.
It's not uncommon that we're meeting with people digitally every single day, whether it's a new business relationship or visiting with a family or friend. It's not uncommon for us to share a screen versus face-to-face conversation. My guest today, René Rodriguez, is an expert in how we break down that barrier between that screen to connect with each other better. He's an expert in consulting CEOs. He's a keynote speaker, author, as well as has his own podcast. So let's head over and meet with René and his wife, Maddy, so that he can show us his home, his studio, and do a transformation on me. Let's go.
Welcome, how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for coming. Good to see you.
Yeah.
This is Maddy.
Hi, Maddy. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me into your home. I know that you are very busy. You've wrote a book recently. Tell us what's going on in your life, René.
Oh, it's been crazy. This nonstop travel right now. We do as many keynotes as we can, a lot of workshops, given that we have 6 kids. So it's been quite the balancing act, yeah.
A lot of husband and wives are working together, and so tell us how you guys do it, how you support each other.
It's simple. I do what I do, and she runs the business.
But that's the best part of the house that we live in now. Both of our offices are here, so we have a studio upstairs that René can shoot all of his content in, and then my office is down here. So all of our staff meetings, he comes down in my office.
When we were looking at the house, when we walked up to the studio, we looked at each other, we're like, okay, this is the place. And so that was it. It was a very simple decision once we saw it.
Well, how about we check out your house and show me the studio?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Come on this way.
So during the pandemic, obviously, you had to do a lot of your stuff virtually. So you set up the studio. What all happens in here?
Well, this is the third rendition of the studio. This is our favorite by far because we've got 6 different cameras, 23 lights in here. So I can control this entire studio here, so there's no production crew needed. As cool as it is technologically, it actually is what makes it feasible. But all that required innovation. Everybody had to think differently. The videographers had to think differently. Tech people had to think differently, and I had to think differently. And so here we run webinars, I do all my Zoom calls, and I also work. So this used to be an office, but now it's a set and a stage that happens to also be an office.
So I know that you do this on stage all over the world.
Yeah, well, I think that to get an idea of what amplify your influence means, we use an example of a very simple thing, this question of what do you do and what makes you unique? And so I'm gonna ask you that same question. So if I were to say, who are you, what do you do, and what makes you unique?
I'm Amber Garofalo. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm a mortgage loan officer. I'm unique because I am an expert and I have a high level of care for my clients and the industry.
Very cool. So now think about what happened. What happened was you fell into what we call the question trap, where you tend to answer questions exactly how they're asked. And so the second part is that we feel compelled to answer questions that are asked of us, even if they're not well thought out questions. And the last part, the person asking the question is typically leading the conversation. So when you put all three of those together, I feel compelled to let somebody lead me down a path that they didn't put much thought into. And so part of the first process is that we have to unlearn that and go a different approach. And so what makes you unique? And give me 2 to 3 words that make you unique. You said something about caring.
Yeah, caring. I would say I'm fun, adventurous, spontaneous.
Okay, and so which of those 3 speaks to your heart the most?
To my heart, probably the caring.
The caring part, okay. Typically we try to live out our values through our uniqueness, and the science says that values are typically formed between the ages of 9 and 13. What happened and who was around between the ages of 9 and 13 that drove that caring? It's either going to be one of 2 stories. Either what we call a lighthouse story, meaning somebody was the beacon of light of caring, or you had a foghorn story. And the foghorn story is the warning sign of what you didn't want to be.
So when I was 9 to 13, that range, I first had my stepdad come into my life, and he was super loving and
So he was a lighthouse.
Yeah, he was a lighthouse. Good dad to me.
So tell us one story about Steve being a lighthouse to you around the word caring.
I think he's just always there for me, and like there was this one time I drove through a Burger King drive-through and my car wouldn't like shift, and it was like a couple hours away from home, and just without question he just like got in the car and drove to me and came and like saved the day, and that was just how he always was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So would you say that you also demonstrate this caring when it comes to working with your clients?
Absolutely, yeah.
So would you say that you also go out of your way to make sure that your clients know that they're valued? You go out of your way to make sure that you do things that maybe others won't do?
Yeah, I think when I don't make that difference in somebody's life, I feel like I failed.
You feel like you failed. Yeah. How does it feel to hear that story?
It feels impactful. It feels like you summarized who I am more so than what I said I did and who I was before.
There's hundreds of those types of stories that shape who we are. And when we learn to tell those in a business-friendly format, now we're actually connecting. We're not just looking for the lowest price. We want a connection that we can trust, but we even say that so often that I think we've lost sight of what that means. The relationship is, do I know who you are? That ounce of vulnerability, that story that's unique to them, we now can say, okay, when there's a gap in our relationship, I can draw from that story to fill the gap and go, oh, you know what, hold on a second, I know that Amber cares, I know so-and-so cares, let me call and make sure they're okay. Versus, well, I don't know why they didn't show up, they're probably too busy for us, right? Mm-hmm. The benefit of the doubt is what's earned when we share our stories.
Spending the afternoon with René and Maddy, I can see why he's considered to be the leading authority for leadership and influence. I'm Amber Garofalo. That's all we have time for on this episode of Financing the American Dream. Happy holidays to you and your family.
We're in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho on the north side of Lake Coeur d'Alene. No longer America's best kept secret, People were moving here in droves to experience everything that North Idaho has to offer. Today, we are going to showcase some fantastic real estate in the area, but we're not going to be doing it from the ground like you'd think. We're going to be doing it from a bird's eye view, courtesy of Brooks Seaplane Service. Welcome to the American Dream. Hey Shane, how you doing?
Good, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, doing great. So I'm here with Shane Rogers, the owner of Brooks Seaplane Service, and wanted to ask him a couple of questions about the business. Now, just like the local Coeur d'Alene resort right behind us, Brooks Seaplane Service has been a local icon for many, many, many years. So Shane, tell us a little bit about the business.
Yeah, the business was started in 1946, right here on the beach, actually, on a small two-person airplane. The first person, that first time it flew basically from sunrise to sunset, and has flown every day, basically, since 1946.
Now, in just the short amount of time that we've been here, we've seen just numerous amounts of people that have come in and want. You were just mentioning a little bit ago about how, you know, you're having to turn people away even during the winter time. So what do you think about it, all of that beauty? But it just, local people rave about this, tourists rave about this, and it's just, there's got to be something about that experience.
And that's exactly what it is. It's an experience, and for a lot of people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So if they want to come out and they want to do it, everybody's flown in a big jet, typically. Not a lot of people have flown in small airplanes, and not a lot of people, even smaller number, have the option to fly in a float plane. So to be able to do it here, and like you say, and it's an experience, but it's an experience that's been passed down generation to generation. This summer we had people that were 5 and 6 generations in, bringing out their young ones to experience Brooks Seaplane and everything that Coeur d'Alene Lake has to offer.
Not to discount you, but we know the star of the show is the plane. So tell us about the plane. You told me some pretty amazing things about it, so I want you to tell the audience about that too.
So the plane is a 1954 Beechcraft Beech 18 on straight floats. So there was about 9,000 Beechcraft Beech 18s made all in all, 50 sets of floats. So it's a very small number were ever put on floats. And this is probably one, I would say, of 5 or 6 that are still flying actively today. I would argue that this is the nicest example of a Beech 18 on floats around anywhere. In the 50s, and really stemming back to the 30s, all aviation engines were round. So this is a round 9-cylinder radial engine built by Pratt & Whitney. It's called a Junior Wasp 985. It makes 450 horsepower, it's supercharged, it sounds amazing. If you're a pilot or if you're into cars or anything else, there's something about a radial engine starting up, belching smoke, coming alive that's just spectacular with that engine. It's made by Pratt & Whitney, one of the largest engine manufacturers out there. But with that, they don't make that engine new anymore, but they make every single part to keep that airplane going. So those are still used in crop dusters, and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of airplanes still run that engine. There's been millions and millions of hours flown behind it, and it's the most reliable piston engine ever created.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you've said so much about this plane, the engine, everything else, the experience. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't wait to get up there in the air and fly in that thing. So you want to take us?
Absolutely, I'd love to take you guys.
Awesome, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Now that was awesome. Definitely I checked something off my bucket list, and if you're in Coeur d'Alene, do not miss an opportunity to fly high with Brooks Seaplane Service. See you next time on Financing the American Dream.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of American Dream TV. I'm your host, Jason Stebbins. Today we are in San Martin, California, right between Morgan Hill and Gilroy in the southern end of Silicon Valley, and we're at Rocca's Market. This is an amazing establishment, small town local grocery with an amazing meat counter. And later on in the episode, we're gonna stop by this winery, Emma Lily, which is featured here at Rocca's Market, and find out from Steve and Laura how they've grown this little boutique winery. Stick around, you're gonna see something cool. Hey everyone, I am here in San Martin, California at Rocca's Market with Dan Keith. Dan, the first thing we need to know is, what's the history behind this amazing store?
Wow, it's been here a long time, 1927, and then I came along only about 10 years ago, And we had to change demographics a little bit and concentrate on something different.
San Martin's not necessarily a place that a lot of people go for vacation or to visit, but you've turned this meat counter into a destination.
We have to have something here for them to come to. You know, I make custom sausages here, pinwheels, stuffed pork chops, prime meat, Wagyu, and as you know, the steaks are pretty good here.
I do know that from personal experience, I sure do. But let's talk about one of the things that's dear to my heart, and you guys have embraced this community. Tell us a little bit about the philanthropy of the store and how you give back.
You know, you have to be community oriented, and like I said, you know, I follow in your footsteps. I see what you do, and we're giving 600 turkeys this year and 400 chickens, and people come in and they donate. There was a gentleman right before our conversation that was like, hey, I'll bring you a check for $1,000.
You highlight a lot of local vendors, a lot of local product producers, and you have a great wine section. And so today we're going to highlight one of those wineries that you sell right here in the store, Emma Lily Winery. We're going to pack up some of this amazing meat. You're going to cook it up for us.
Yes,
we're going to go meet Steve and Laura and check out Emma Lily. Are you ready to head up there?
I'm ready.
All right,
Are you hungry?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey everyone, we are just outside Morgan Hill, California, in these beautiful foothills, and I'm here with Steve Peterson from Emma Lily Winery. Thank you so much for letting us be here with you. First of all, we need to learn about the winery. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the winery was named after my two daughters, Emma and Lily. Really do a lot of micro fermentations. We do some really handcrafted stuff. We're making right now 14 different wines, from Cabs to Merlots.
Now, a lot of people would question, you know, why would you do something like this in a town like Morgan Hill, a small little town, but you grew up here. Tell us why you love Morgan Hill.
We love it. I was raised here 1968 when we moved out. And we wanted to bring our kids back for many, many years, and we finally got the opportunity to do so.
Now, this property is beautiful. Tell us a little bit about some of the other things you do on property here that make it so special.
Well, it's been fantastic. My eldest daughter, Emma, is the director of operations. She's doing weddings and events and other things here. Lily's in Nashville. We fly out our Nashville artists who are the up-and-coming next generation, and we did 16 of them last year, and we're really excited to continue that series.
So it's a family operation here at Emma Lily. And speaking of family, we've got some of your club members here with us. We've got Dan from Rocca's Market who's cooking for us. We're going to all gather around the table and end our episode here talking with your people and getting to know them. So thank you again for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
You bet. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of American Dream Television. We are so blessed to be here in the southern part of Silicon Valley, here in the hills of Morgan Hill with Emma Lily Winery, and we got to go to Rocca's Market. And as you can see, we're about to dig into some amazing food. Steve, why don't you take us away?
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Financing the American Dream. I've been your host, Craig Sewing. And don't forget, not only can you watch the show here, but also follow us on social at The American Dream TV. Until next time, cheers to your American Dream.